Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Brittini Lee.
I mean, Fuego here.
Back with another review for you guys. This is for a project that just came out on Netflix this past week. That is an adaptation that's been adapted before a number of times, both into the Japanese live-action cinema as well as the Japanese animation side of things with a full-on series, all based on an original 10-volume manga, or it might be 9 volumes plus a bonus volume of extra stuff. And that is, of course, Death Note.
Yes.
Now, this is again, the most recent live-action Americanized telling of it, taking place in Seattle rather than Japan. And it is going to be starring none other than Willem Dafoe as the voice of Ryuk, the Death God. So outside of that, I don't know the names of the other actors in it.
None of them are big names, so that's inconsequential.
Light's father is someone that we've definitely seen before in a number of
familiar,
things.
yeah.
I don't
He's
remember the
familiar.
name, unfortunately. So apologies
His adopted
regarding
father,
that.
right?
Right. But we are going to be discussing this like we do most of our reviews. We'll talk about our overall thoughts, then we'll talk about the story, acting, effects, all that good stuff in turn. Overall, I was disappointed in this film. I thought we got a couple of cool moments, which I will get into, but ultimately this was a extraordinarily rushed version of the Death Note story that I know. So, yeah, not happy.
I agree. My overall thought of it was that it was rushed, and I've only seen a few of the anime series episodes, and of what I've seen from them, and from what I talked about with my nephew's dad about the story, is super rushed. And that's unfortunate, because I think it could have been awesome if they had taken their time and made it maybe like a 3-hour movie. I think it would have been a lot more fun that way.
Could have benefited from being an 8-episode series, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, if it would have been a series, that would have been, the ideal. But,
Fuego, overall thoughts?
I still don't think that could have saved it for me. I really did not like this movie at all, man. I mean, visually, I thought it was pretty to look at, but I did not like these actors that portrayed the lead characters at all. I thought their acting sucked, and I thought they were written just paper thin. And even with additional time to develop them, I didn't really, without getting into too much detail, relate or like any of them. And so for that sheer fact, I didn't feel invested in any of their motivations, as paper thin as they were. And so while it was pretty to look at, and I like the concept of Death Note, I haven't seen a lot of episodes. I'm probably in the same boat as you guys. I'm familiar with the mythology. I've seen a few episodes of the anime, and that's about it. I know the fervent fan base behind this property, and they're probably more pissed than me, but as somebody who's not even that acclimated to it, I thought it was really not good.
Well, I read all the manga.
Oh, okay.
So I have them all. I've read the
Okay.
whole story.
Okay,
it's
so
been
then-
a long time since I have.
So you're
I only
beyond me
watched
then.
about half of the series, the anime series, but yeah, this is definitely, I could tell, when and where they rushed through and stuff, and it was such a bummer because it deconstructed. I think it would have been a lot better, even though you didn't like it. I mean, but if you didn't like it, you didn't like it, and deconstructing it wouldn't have helped. That's fair.
So then to hit the story, which we always do next, was it at least, was it faithful with the beats? Like with some of the
No,
things
because it was never a him and a girlfriend against the world situation.
Which is what I hated so much about it, honestly. I
Yeah,
didn't
so
like that
the
dynamic.
story is we start off with Light, I was going to say Light Yagami, which is his name in the actual manga, but no, it's Light Turner, and he is this sort of underhanded kid at school that does other people's homework. He's obsessed with this lead cheerleader who's too cool for school and smoking during cheer practice and
during
stuff.
practice.
Yeah.
And so, but right off the bat, it starts where this notebook falls out of the air, and he picks it up, and it's called the Death Note, and he notices there's a bunch of rules written down where it says stuff like, if you write a person's name down in this book, that person shall die. And then there's all kinds of modifying rules that he finds out after that, but very quickly he meets Ryuk, which is the death god and overseer of this Death Note. What you don't know is that there are multiple notes and multiple gods that you find out later on in the manga and series, but that has no bearing here because they don't even touch on it. But Ryuk is this 8-foot tall god that stands in the shadows and is very horrifying when you see him even in the shadows, which was amazing.
He looks really cool.
Complimented amazingly by Willem Dafoe's voice.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
That was awesome.
One of the best parts.
The best part, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah. So quickly, Light finds out that he has the power to kill people with certain modifiers, and he very quickly tells this girl that he's obsessed with, and she jumps on board and in bed, and then they both start.
That happens super.
They both start, and they both start committing mass crimes where they're killing all these criminals in the name of Kira, where they're establishing this uber personality that is responsible for all these deaths, but that can't be traced back to them, but is, of course, inevitably traced back to them by the other saving grace of the movie, or at least the other positive part of a failed movie, which was L, played by an actor, I don't know his name, but he was very successful playing the character L. His mannerisms were right exactly where L needs to be. I don't know that his motivations were. And standing, crouching on chairs and stuff. That's his thing. And straight up confrontation with characters. That confrontation where he's like, "Oh no, you're him."
At the house.
Yeah.
When he showed up at the gelato.
No, at the gelato place. There's a lot of stuff like that in the book. So that's the really cool stuff. So we got a little bit of it, but then it all resolves so fast. Like, this movie could very easily be the first 6 manga volumes of the 10, and it went by so fast. But the story, what I'll say is, for as fast as it was, I thought it was, like you said, it executed beautifully visually.
Yes.
I thought it was very pretty. I thought Ryuk was terrifying. I thought the gore was awesome when we got it.
When we got it. Early on we got it, but then it tapered off.
Big time. Yeah. So then it becomes more, soap opera-y drama. And it becomes less interesting.
Yes.
Luckily, it's only an hour and 35 minutes, but still, it while I say it could have standed to be longer, the fact that it devolved into melodrama for such a big chunk of the movie was not heartening for me.
And for me, poorly executed melodrama where I did not buy into the chemistry of these two characters.
Not at all.
At all. Like donuts, man.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Or even the chemistry between the kid and his dad. That was kind of hurried.
Hurried, but I felt like that.
It was more effective than him and the girlfriend,
genuine,
but it was still very hurried and ultimately fell flat for me.
Yeah.
Britt, what do you think story-wise? How did it feel to you? Was it satisfying, not satisfying? What did you think?
It had some moments that were kind of satisfying, but overall, it was very disappointing. Mm-hmm. It was once again, it was rushed. It took on way too much of the non-essential teenage love story that added nothing to the story at all, and
I love you.
And was like non-existent in the original story. And
so was there a female character?
There was a female character, but they weren't love interests.
No. And it didn't turn into Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, that was oh god, that was ridiculous. That whole thing. I thought I could stop you.
Yeah, it is frustrating. We don't want to spoil anything, and we're not.
Boy, would I like to, though, because the back half, I was
it's
just
frustrating.
Like that.
So we'll talk about the effects. Again, the visuals were good. It was beautifully shot, but the gore was few and far between after the beginning.
Which was a good kill. The beginning was a great kill, actually.
There were so many good kill scenes. Yeah, there was the first one, and
but then there was a lot of
one.
aftermath, though. A lot of aftermath. It's showing the Kira's aftermath and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So not enough direct violence for me. And then the music and sound effects were just kind of so-so. Nothing really stood out to me, except for that early kill.
I felt very much like I did when I watched Ghost in the Shell, where it was just so pretty to look at, but void and soulless of like genuine emotion. And
I'm a half hour into that, and I do not care to continue because I just don't care about what's going on.
Man, it's not good. I mean, I was trying to be okay with these Americanized versions because, I mean, they remake, you know, stuff in, like, India and in Bollywood of American movies. And so, I mean, it can go both ways. And I think there is too much of a judgmental mentality about these sort of remakes a lot of the time. However, when you just execute it poorly and without the emotion and the depth of the original storytelling, that's where you just give fuel to the fire and ammunition for the haters, you know? And I'm not even deep into the mythology, and I still didn't like it.
Yeah.
So
I have to say, one thing I did like was the way they made Ryuk. Oh my gosh, I'm so fucking
Ryuk, yeah.
The way they made Ryuk look, I was so terrified he was going to look awful. I'm sitting there, you guys are like, let's watch Death Note, and I'm just like, oh god, I don't want to see Ryuk. I hope they keep him in the shadows all the time.
And they did.
And they did, for the most part, they did. But those few times that they did show him, he looked freaky as hell, and it was very well done.
Abnormal.
no one's got past the second letter.
Oh, that was so
And
good.
you see his fingers and stuff.
There's 4
he
letters in my
looked
name.
great.
No one's gotten past number 2.
He's just eating these apples. What was it eating the apples?
He
does
loves
that.
apples.
He
The
loves
Death Gods love
apples.
apples.
And they didn't
Interesting.
touch on that much in the movie, like they do in the
Just
in the-
visually.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like his mom in the anime was freaking out. She's like, "Where are all the apples going? What is going on here? What is happening to all these apples?"
So the
It's
mom
like,
was alive in the manga anime.
or
at least
or maybe it was. The
I can't
dad,
recall exactly, but
Whoever it was, they were like.
it was different
"What's
enough.
going on?"
Yeah, music-wise, interesting thing I gotta say, they really went for this 80s, especially with like the Homecoming stuff and everything.
Yeah.
Air Supply and In Excess and all this other
Yep.
stuff. It's once again back to this whole current, like, youngsters are obviously obsessed with the 80s culture. I mean, look at Stranger Things and all this other stuff. So I don't know, musically I did like some of those beats, but I felt like it was trying to make the romance seem more genuine than I felt like it actually was. And they were
Right.
trying to really just make it seem more epic with the music, and it just didn't work for me because I wasn't buying into it. So that in turn, melodrama, like you
Right.
said,
Yeah.
you
Exactly.
know. So
So, yeah, guys, I mean, ultimately it was just a disappointing outing for Adam Wingard, and
he's a hell of a director, man.
he really
he's
is.
talented, man.
Mhm.
He's doing the Godzilla versus Kong, right?
yeah, I think so, yeah.
He did
And
Blair Witch, the new one, which was
I
pretty
liked
damn
that
good.
a lot. This was
Yeah.
just unfortunate, and it just didn't work.
No.
It just didn't work for us. So.
Sorry, but they left it open for a sequel, and they said there's still chatter that they're going to do another one. But, I mean, doesn't the dad say at one particular point that, you know, it's not so much about lesser evils and whatever, it's like there's various shades of gray, and I felt like everyone was just these weird shades of gray that I didn't really care, just give a F about it all, man. So
Yeah, it's definitely rough around a lot of its edges. So, if you guys have watched it already, let us know in the comments down below if you did or did not like it and why. Try not to be super spoilery, but at this point it's probably been out for a little bit. So I am curious to know what you thought, though. So until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Brittini Lee.
Gracias, Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.